Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer visits with Brian Kippenstein of Protect the Harvest. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. Next, Duane Toews and Joe Prusacki are talking data collected from USDA NASS. And then it's time for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update. We'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane Toews. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first today, Kyle Bauer and Brian Kippenstein talk about Protect the Harvest.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with Brian Kippenstein. He's with Protect the Harvest. Brian, let's start with who is or what is Protect the Harvest?
Protect the Harvest is a nonprofit that was stood up by Forrest Lucas, founder of Lucas Oil, to fight for food security issues and to take on in the political arena those we refer to these days as the food police.
And so when you're talking the political arena, would that involve legislation or would that involve initiatives in states?
Largely initiatives, but we've been in federal court. We've been in before state government, federal government, and just before the public at large. You increasingly have groups that are well funded. There's a lot of money these days and more to come in food politics. It used to be limited to trying to dictate how farmers farm. Increasingly, what they're trying to do is control diets, control refrigerators, control what people eat, and it's an emerging threat.
And certainly, a lot of that is disguised as animal rights issues or environmental issues when it's really about an agenda that's hidden.
That's right. Look, when I have had discussions with this with East Coast media recently, for example, what's the end game here? What's behind? And I'll say, well, look, what they're promoting is a vegan diet. Oh, well, that's silly. Well, it's not silly. You go to their website, and that's what they're for. I mean, we have Meatless Monday, right? We have 6 days to go. And anyone who wants to embrace any diet that they prefer, we don't object to. But when they try to impose it upon others, particularly using false pretenses, we're going to go give them a fight.
And I can see where you fill a gap in that when there's an initiative, let's say I'll pick on Missouri, and that might be difficult for people fighting that initiative in Missouri because they've never done it before, but you may have already fought that battle in 3 other states.
Right, yeah, and it's, look, people in agriculture are good at producing. They're good-natured people. They're cooperative in nature. They're great at taking care of land and the animals. But, rough and tumble, bare knuckles politics is not what they're great at.
Well, and it takes a lot of money.
Well, and that's where we're still short. And, to the point where, agriculture, particularly big agriculture, is going to have to come to grips with this. Because winning these things is a choice. It takes an investment. And I'm among those who think that if they care about their own business, they care about their suppliers, they care about their customers, they care about sound science, they are going to invest. And so far, they've decided not to.
We're visiting with Brian Kippenstein. He's with Protect the Harvest. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean update.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Jenna Ernstein from Hayes will be a senior at Kansas State University, and she served as one of the interns at the Kansas Soybean Commission. And I know it's been a busy summer for you, Jenna, there at the Kansas Soybean Commission.
It has.
What are some of the things you've been doing?
We've been able to dip our toes into a lot of the different aspects of the soybean industry, from meeting with farmers to doing hill visits in D.C. and learning a little bit about Kansas agriculture and Kansas economic impact of agriculture.
And the soybean industry plays a vital part in the economic impact here in Kansas.
It absolutely does.
You have been working a lot with the social media aspect as well, and in many cases trying to draw more people in to have interest in the soybean industry.
I have. They kind of let me take over their Instagram account for the summer and help with that. So I've had fun utilizing the Instagram Stories feature and helping our followers understand what Kansas Soybean does, especially when we're in the field or with our farmers. And I've also had the opportunity to work on the Kansas Farm Food Connection website.
What's that about?
Kansas Farm Food Connection website is a great way for the different commodity groups in Kansas to come together to promote Kansas agriculture and putting food on the table and helping farmers get their message out.
How vital of a tool is it for soybean producers that can use social media, that has social media, to portray what they are doing within the industry and talk about their everyday life?
I think it is so incredibly important. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about agriculture and about the soybean industry that farmers can really help bridge that gap between them and their consumers.
What's in the future for you?
I'm looking forward to graduating in May, and I've taken the LSAT, so maybe law school is in my future, but I think I'd like to work a little bit in the industry and see what I really want to invest my time into.
Did this give you a pretty good taste serving as an intern at the Kansas Soybean Commission?
It has. I've loved the opportunity to work with both farmers, producers, BNDC, and just see all aspects of the industry and what I can contribute to it later.
Especially your parents both grew up on farms, but you grew up in the city of Hayes.
They did, yes. My mom is from DeMar, Kansas, and my dad's from Ellenwood, Kansas. They both grew up on farms, and I grew up in town, and both their families still farms. I saw a little bit, and I kind of dipped my toes in, but I didn't necessarily have the full farm experience.
Jenna, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jenna Ernstein from Hayes will be a senior at Kansas State University, served as one of the interns at the Kansas Soybean Commission. She joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more with Duane and Joe Prusacki from USDA National Ag Statistics Service.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Duane and Joe discuss data collection.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Joe Prusacki with USDA's National Ag Statistics Service. Joe, certainly we think about the data that's mined, if you will, by USDA NASS. Extremely important, and not only for the folks on the outside of agriculture, but those within agriculture as well.
That's very true, because the data, our tools, are part of the decision-making process. The more data you have, the better decisions someone can make.
We think about the way that has come about. A lot of folks are concerned always about confidentiality and privacy of their data, if you will. One thing about it, when you work with a USDA NASS survey, you can feel comfortable that that information will never ever be turned loose with an individual specific name attached to it.
That's a very true statement, because all the individuals in the organization, we are very well schooled on confidentiality. Confidentiality is the lifeblood of what we do, because that maintains that person's data cannot be shared with anyone. And we basically, when it comes to data processing, we separate the names and addresses of the individuals from the data itself. So there's really no disconnect, and it's all on secure servers.
Talk to us a little bit, Joe, about upcoming survey and why it's important that folks take the time to fill it out to the best of their ability.
So coming up at the end of 2017, so a year from now, will be something called the Sense of Agriculture, which is conducted every 5 years. This project will send out approximately 3 million questionnaires to farmers, ranchers, growers across the United States. And it's a way to have information at the local level, at the county level. It gives a complete snapshot of the farm and rural activities in a particular county.
And we think about why a census is important. It does give us data points through time to see what kinds of trends and changes are taking place. That allows lawmakers and others to tailor programs then to fit the needs of rural America.
Exactly, and it's not only farmers, like you said, but it tailors the needs to all of rural America. Because in certain parts of the country, as you know, there are, I would say, it's like small type operations that are popping up around city centers. And I don't know if you call them hobby farmers, part-time farmers, or what, but census data like that we talked about provides retailers and such information or a trend. Hey, is there a need for some sort of extra services to be provided at a particular county or a locality?
Final thoughts from USDA NASS for individuals?
Yeah, the final thoughts that I would like to share with anybody. I want to thank everyone that takes the time to fill out those questionnaires that we sent out, USDA NASS, or one of our telephone enumerators to call you up. Because who could provide the best information about what's going on a particular individual's operation? It's the producer themselves. It's not a satellite flying over above us. It's that producer on the ground that knows what's going on in their place.
Our thanks to Joe Prusacki with USDA NASS joining us on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau Update.
Farmers and ranchers have until September 27th to submit comments in support of EPA ditching the 2015 WOTUS rule. The rule, which was halted by the courts, had more to do with controlling land than protecting water and only created confusion for farmers, according to AFBF Senior Director of Regulatory Relations, Don Parrish.
Those laws and those regulations were so broad, in fact, that it allowed the agency to blur the distinction between regulating water and land use. Or in other words, allowed the agency to regulate land use by just claiming the land was water. So it was really problematic for farmers and ranchers.
Parrish says farmers and ranchers have been calling on EPA to ditch the flawed WOTUS rule since it was proposed, and that their input is just as important today as environmental groups launch their own campaigns to protect this federal land grab.
It is equally important to have our voices heard. This rule had a detrimental impact on the farmer's ability to utilize his land, and we think it is critical that farmers submit comments in support of withdrawing this rule.
Parrish says it's easy for farmers and ranchers to submit their comments to the EPA directly or through AFBF's website, fb.org.
Well, we'd really like you to go out to the American Farm Bureau's website. We have an opportunity for you to submit comments through our website, or you can go to the EPA's website. They're soliciting comments. It doesn't have to be very detailed comments, but just add your name to a list of growing farmers and ranchers that understand that this rule was a significant overreach, did not comply with the statutory requirements that Congress put into place, and support the administration's effort to withdraw this rule.
Farmers and ranchers can submit their comments through the advocacy section of AFBF's website, fb.org, before EPA's comment period closes on September 27th. Chad Smith, Washington.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn, for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Clyde Sutton, Ness City, Kansas. Lived on this place all my life. About a year and a half ago, got to where I couldn't saddle a horse. The pain was terrible. Read about stem cell. First it wasn't for me, then they started doing neck and back. Before I went down to Manhattan, the pain I was having from my neck down to my hand was curling my hand back. Some people had thought I almost had a stroke, and my shoulder had drawed up. I couldn't lift, I couldn't sleep, I really couldn't do anything, and was scheduled to be operated on, but was scared of the knife, I guess. Went and had it done. As you can see, I saddled a horse. I'm still building fence. Love to shoot a shotgun rifle, and I'm able to participate, not like I used to, but nevertheless I can do the things I used to do. And I want to personally thank the doctors, nurses, staff at Kansas Regenerative Medicine for the opportunity they give me to have my life back again.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Toews.
Kyle Bauer, your fact or fiction question of the day. Research has discovered that mosquitoes prefer to bite people who drink water as opposed to people who drink beer. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. I just heard it on our radio station.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Rocky Downing had it on, that it was like beer drinkers are preferred by mosquitoes.
It's true.
I am correct.
You are correct. It's false. Mosquitoes prefer to bite people who drink beer as opposed to people who drink water.
I just heard it. Woohoo!
Wonder where he must have been rifling through my
No,
stuff.
he wasn't. He had a whole show on how to avoid mosquitoes. So,
Really?
So we have
That being
had violence with cops coming up to cars, and some students at a university have come up with an answer on that. RoboCop. Of course, there's a movie about RoboCop.
I was going to say that didn't turn out so
That
well.
didn't turn out so good. But basically what it amounts to is the thing that approaches the car is not the officer.
Okay.
It is a robot that basically has a 180-degree vision.
Flat screen panel?
Walks up to, well, the flat screen panel is in the car.
Okay.
Okay, but he has the ability to see at 180 degrees. Walks up, wants the registration and license. They hold it up. He takes a picture, sends it back there to the car, to the computer. They run it just like they would if they took yours back there. But in the meantime, the cop isn't worried about being shot, and the people in the car aren't worried about being shot. And I thought, you know what? I think this has some basis.
Could be.
Now, Duane Toews, if you were on a city council and deciding whether to implement this or not, how much would that be worth to you on the city council?
Wow. No.
Yeah, because, I mean, you've got some cities with thousands of cars out there.
Right.
And so what would it be worth? A policeman, let's say an average policeman makes $50,000 a year. I don't think I'm that far off on that number.
Really?
So $50,000, and I don't think this would speed up.
No.
On the other hand, it would certainly be taping it all and recording it all, and you could certainly see in the car better with a camera than you could by eye, because you're right at the right level, see 180 degrees.
Looking down in.
And if you have a high pixel camera, you could see, better than a. Now, you couldn't be able to smell what was going on in that car.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could. The RoboCop would
There's
stick a finger out that would take a reading in there.
It's got a sniffer on that camera.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn, I guess, on this particular issue.
These students that have developed it says that they can do it for $10,000. I'm thinking, there might be some people interested in that.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.